Hi everyone, it's Anja here and I'm back with another video for Ophelia Talks. And in today's design we are making a plant hanger. So I wanted to make a really lovely plant hanger with some trellis work up the side here, a tassel at the base and some trellis work going up as well to hang up your plant hanger. So I have used bobbiny cord, which is nice and chunky. So this is something that you can easily make in an afternoon or an evening. And doesn't it make a lovely present? I have attached mine to some willow sticks and then I have hung it off there. But of course you can hang it whichever way you can manage to hang it. I love the way the plant could possibly trail onto that trellis work at the back there, but I think it's a really effective plant hanger and I really like the design of it. So for this project I am going to be using my bobbiny cord. It's a junior 3mm cord and it's in the color Pearl. And I use it with a 6.5mm hook. I also use a 3.5, but that doesn't matter the size of this hook. This is just a smaller hook that you need for sewing in the ends, basically. Then we have scissors. I have my plant pot here, which is from IKEA, and it's a 12cm diameter at the top. Also, what you will need is your little box for making tassels and big fabric scissors, because of course we need to cut the tassel. And we are going to get started with a magic circle. So make a cross over your fingers like this. Take your hook and go under this strand here. Pick up the strand there, bring it through, twist your hook, going back to that back strand here, picking it up and pulling it through the loop on your hook. Now you can take your fingers out. So chain 1. Then making sure you're working over these 2 strands here, you yarn over, you insert into the circle, you pull up a loop, you yarn over and you pull through the 3 loops on your hook. There we go. Yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through the 3 loops. And we're going to do 11 half double crochets like this. And then we will do our slip stitch and that will create our 12th V. And then we do our 10th one and the 11th one. There we go. So we pull the end to make our circle smaller. So this V here is where I'm going to go into, pick up the both strands and keeping everything nice and tight. So I'm pulling this one, yeah, and there we go. So now I have 12 V's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and this is my 12th one here. There we go. Okay, so we have a nice middle there. So now we are ready for round 2. So we are making a flat circle. That means we have to do increases. And the increases for round 2 means that we are doing 2 stitches in each stitch around. So we chain 2, 1, 2. This is going to act as the last stitch of our round because it is in this V here. So we're going to just disregard that for now. And starting in the first V, we are going to do 2 half double crochets into that stitch. So insert twice into that V, doing your half double crochet. And so you do this all around your circle. I'm nearly at the end of my round. I have my last V waiting for me here, and of course I've got that chain coming out of it, so that's my second half double crochet that's coming out of there, or it's going to count as that. So I just have to do the first one. There we go. And then we are going to skip those 2 V's and then into the third V, which is the V on top of the first double crochet. We're going to go under there and we are going to do a slip stitch. There we go. So this now gives me 24 V's going around the outside of my work. And round 3 starts the same way. So we chain 2. This will be our last stitch of the round. So we disregard that for now. And the increase ratio for round 3 is 1 half double crochet in the first stitch, 2 half double crochets in the second stitch, 1, 2, 1, 2, and so on. So in the first stitch you place 1 half double crochet. In the next stitch you place 2. There we go. And that's the ratio that you are going to be repeating. So in the next stitch 1, and in the stitch after that you do 2. There we go. So I will see you at the end of the round. So I'm just finishing my round. This is the one that I have to do on its own. Then here I am at the last stitch. Of course the chain is coming out of that as my second half double crochet, so I'm just going to do the first one. There we go. Skipping those 2 chains under the third one, doing a slip stitch. There we go. So this is the base. So now we are going to get started on the sides. So this is going to be the base on the outside. So this is going to be inside. So from now on we are going to be working like this. So I'm going to get started by doing a chain, and then we are going to be using the back loop only. So that means this strand here. Picking up the back loop only, you are going to be placing single crochets, 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and there's no need to do any more increases. So the amount of stitches that we have now, which is 36, is going to stay the same. So I will see you when I have finished my round. Skipping the last stitch and chain, I'm going to go under the next V and I'm going to do a slip stitch there. So now I'm going to start a second round of single crochets. So chain 1, and then now picking up both strands of the V's of the stitches, I'm going to complete a whole round of single crochets. So I will see you at the end of the row. So I have just finished my 5th round. So we've done 3 on the base, 2 on the side here. So I'm just going to close my round here, and I'm just going to see if this fits, and yes indeed it does. So this is the size that I worked out for it to be just exactly the size of my pot, so that is good. Now as you can see, before we go any further, you want to be able to put your tassel on the outside underneath, of course. There we go. So I've pushed my hook through the middle I'm going to yarn it round and bring the end through so it's hanging out at the base, so we can use that to attach our tassel to later on. Okay, so let's get started on doing the sides. So I now have 36 V's going around the outside of my work here. And from now on, we are going to make the decorative side. So we are going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 chains. We're going to skip 1, 2, 3 stitches into the 4th one. We're going to insert and we're going to do a slip stitch. This makes a little loop. And this is how we are going to continue for this row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3 into the 4th one. And you do your slip stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3 into the 4th. See, I will see you when you get here. So I have now made 8 chain 5 loops going around my work, and I'm just about to make the last one, the 9th one. But if I attach this in the place here where it should be attached, then I'm in the wrong place to get started for my next round. So for your last loop that you are making of every row, you are only going to chain half the chains. Now, of course, 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. So let's say we are going to do 3 chains. Okay, so take 2 out. You do 3 chains. Then you are going to do a double crochet. So you yarn over, then insert where you have to insert. Pull up a loop, then you finish your double crochet as you usually do, and that brings you to the middle of that chain, and that way you are in the correct location to start your next round. So the next round is exactly the same as before, so we're going to do chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then we are going to do a slip stitch but around the middle of the next loop. So you insert into the next loop, pull up a loop, and then do your slip stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then into the next chain space, pull up a loop, and you do your slip stitch. And look, you are now making what we sort of call that little trellis work almost. And this is how you are going to keep going round. 3, 4, and 5. Until, of course, your trellis work on the side 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of your plant hanger here is high enough to hold your pot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, let's have a look. Let me show you. So here we have the pot, here we have the trellis, and there we go. See, so it's coming up the side, and of course it is going to be going out and it's going to be too big, but don't worry about that because it will grow in the height, and when you get here we will have to reduce our stitches again, but for now this is looking good. So you will finish each round with doing half your amount of chains and a double crochet, but when you get here I don't just pick up this V here, because this might extend. As you can see, there's already a hole forming. So what I do, I go into here, into the body of that double crochet, and I incorporate all that into, when I go in for doing my double crochet. So there you go. I will see you when your trellis work on the side here is tall enough for the pot that you are using. Okay, so I've now done 6 rows of the trellis, and I have to say I think this is tall enough because I also want to do the same rim like I did here on top of there. So now we are going to reduce our stitches again, because of course with doing the chains our stitches have increased. So we now have to do a round where we are going from middle to middle basically, and we are going to be doing 4 stitches in between, because that is what we used here per repeat. So we are doing 1, 2, 3 chains, and then you do your slip stitch as your 4th chain. See, and that reduces that distance. 1, 2, 3 chains and slip stitch as your 4th. There we go. 1, 2, 3, and then around the chain space, slip stitch, see, and that brings those things together as you can see. So I'm going to continue and I'll meet you here. So I've done my 3 chains here. This is my last loop that I have to go around. This is where the chain meets that double crochet. And once again, I am going to go into that deeper location to do my slip stitch, just so that it all is neatly like that. Then I'm going to chain up, and now I'm going to do my single crochets again. And of course I have to finish with 36 stitches again. So around each chain space I am going to do 4 single crochets. 3 and the 4th one, there we go. And then on to the next chain space, and I just do another 4 in there. So once again, I will see you at the end of the round. I've made it all around my edge here. I'm going to skip the chain, go under the V of that first single crochet and do a slip stitch, chain 1. And now I am going to do some more single crochets. There we go. So we're starting a second round, but I'm only going to do, so to speak, what is going to be the front of my plant hanger. So 16 single crochets. Then we are going to get started on doing the trellis work at the back of our plant hanger. And so we're going to be doing the same thing as before, doing 5 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then skipping 3, working a slip stitch in the 4th. And you will be doing this 5 times. Now, once again, we are going to have to start a new round. But of course, we are going to go and work backwards and forwards now. And here, of course, we can't do a whole loop because then we're in the wrong place. So we are going to undo 2 chains. And this time we are going to yarn over once. So I am going to go and do another yarn over here and work under that first V there, because of course this is where we got started on the other side as well. And then you do your treble until you have 1 loop left. There we go. Okay. Then you're going to have to turn your work and you start doing your chain 5s again. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And then you do a slip stitch around the loop there. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And a slip stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And this is my last one. So I'm going to attach it to the middle of my last loop here. Now this time we didn't do the half one here because we have reduced our amount of loops. So we had 5 loops to start with in the first round. Now we only have 4. But of course, if we keep reducing, then we won't have anything to hang our plant hanger off in a moment, in a few rows. So we are going to keep doing the 4 loops. So now we are making a half loop. So we're going to do a chain 3. Then we turn. We're going to do a slip stitch around the middle of that chain space. There we go. And so when we come back, we will have here a location to be able to put our loop on. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We make 3 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the middle here. And then of course we do our 3, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go into here. But of course if we do that, then we're in the wrong place. So we do 2, undo 1, and do a double crochet going into a lower location so nothing expands. And there we go. So we've made here that same half loop as we did here, and this way, in a way, we've made 2 half loops and 3 full loops. So that means we've still got 4. Okay, so now 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You turn and you go and do your slip stitches again around the middle of those loops. And this time we will be doing the 4 loops again. And then the next row we will do the half ones again, and so on until, yeah, in here. Right, and I also pick up something, so yeah, slip stitch so it doesn't expand. See, look, now I've done my 4 again. So 1, 2, 3, you turn, do a slip stitch in the middle of your first loop there. Then we are going to do 3 loops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chains, and you slip stitch in the middle of the next loop. You repeat that 3 times. And then of course at the end of the round here you will be doing your half one again. 1, 2, yarn over and go into that junction here in a location where you're not going to be able to expand anything. There we go. See, and this way the back of our plant hanger is getting higher but no longer reducing, because of course here we had 2 extra ones and we've reduced slightly. So I'm going to keep on doing this until I think it is tall enough for my plant to hang. Now it's time to have a look at how you're going to be hanging your plant hanger. I'm going to be using these willow sticks here that I have. You could also use a small stick or a bar or something like that. You might also be able to use 2 hooks on either end to hang it up. So just see what would work for you, what you have to hand, and how you are going to hang it. So I'm going to do a row of 4 loops now, and I'm going to make my loops bigger so I can put them through here. So I've done 5 chains, but I'm going to do 7 chains, and then I'll do my slip stitch. So 7 chains. 7, and I'm just going to attach that here with a slip stitch. There we go. So let me pull that out, and now let's have a look and see. Okay, let's see if we can put these on. Like so. There we go. And I'm going to take it to the middle of these sticks. Yep, that's going well. There we go, look at that. Oh, I like the way that hangs. So I will be sewing in my end here using my smaller hook, just looping it around the strands. And of course here we have a location for a little tassel. So let's make the tassel. So I have once again my trusted chocolate box for making the tassels. The one revolution is about 30 centimeters, so that's always handy for a tassel length. So I'm going to cut off about 50 centimeters. There we go. So put that to the side. Then I'm going to do some revolutions here. I like a good tassel. So I've got about 20 revolutions. Oh, let's do 5 more. 5. There we go. Okay, so that's cut off there. Then I'm going to take this amount that I've just cut off. I'm going to pull it underneath like so. And tie it. I was going to loop it then, but I don't think that will be tight enough for some reason. And now I am going to take this off. So you keep these 4 strands. Where's that 5th one? Oh yeah, there we are. That's the end there. So I'm going to take it off the box. There we go. And now I'm going to do a nice wrap around the top of our tassel there. So I put my end in with the tassel, and now I've just started wrapping. And I'm going to lay them nicely next to each other, so it's nice and neat. There we go. Voila. Now I'm going to cut this off. I'm going to use my small hook, go into there, see where it is, take my yarn here that I've just cut off, and I'm going to pull that into the tassel. So that secures that band. There we go. Yep. And now we have to cut the tassel, of course. So go into it and cut as many strands as you can. And yeah, of course, there is the straightening off that we have to do. Oh dear. Right, there we go. And now, of course, we are going to have to attach the tassel to the pot. So I'm going to try and do that in both ways. So let me take the pot out. So first of all, I'm going to try, you see there's still a little hole here. So I'm going to use my hook and I'm going to bring through that yarn from the pot. And I'm going to now try and get it back in there. So go back in, there we go. Hold it behind your hook and yep, there we go. Pull it through. Then here as well, again, come in with your hook into the hole. Can you see what I'm doing? Because of course I've got it attached already. Put the loop around there as well and bring that through as well. So bring that, no, I missed it. So bring that loop behind the hook and yes, there we go. See? And now this one here, because the loop was easy, of course. That would automatically loop behind. Yes, I think I've got it. There we go, look. So now we have them all here. And either you sew them in by making them disappear into the fabric here with your hook, or you could knot them. It depends on the flatness of your pot here. Look, there's a little rim, so I could knot them because that wouldn't make a difference to that pot. So you'll have to try and work out what to do best here. So I've put a knot even in that one. There we go. So that can stay there like this. And then this one as well, I'm going to try and just find a strand to go under and make it disappear. And do that a couple of times. Okay, so work away these ends as best you can. I will come back to that in a moment. But then here we have our little tassel hanging off, and that's exactly what we wanted. So let me now show you the finished product. Now this is one of my new plants, and to be honest, I don't know the name of it. So if anyone knows the name of this plant, please do leave the name in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you will try out this project, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!